Hello everyone, I'm Kurt with RC Diggin 2401, and today I want to talk to you about putting track back on the Komatsu 575. So every now and then, we got to break track and take it off for whatever reason for maintenance. And the 575, JD Models did not put a lot of thought into doing things so it's easy for us, but there's always little shortcuts to take. And so I want to show you the technique that I use for putting tracks back on. So the main components that hold the track together is this pin. It's threaded on both sides, both ends, and each end has, I don't know if that'll focus. Each end will have this small flat cap screw on each end that goes into the pin. This one here is already Loctited. I don't want to take that out, but you can see that it just threads in, and this piece, I don't know what to call it. I call it a big cog. That fits right over the pin, and you can see how the cog fits right inside the sprocket. So that's what the sprocket picks up. And so you can see that the break in our track is right here. And I'll show you the technique that I use that involves this solid steel dowel with a tapered end to it. And it's the same diameter as the pin. Alright, so this is what I end up using when I've got a break track. And this is on the big Komatsu 575. It could be on the DXR2 D10, the 6015, the 360. The bar clamp works great. This happens to be a quick grip bar clamp. And I've got various size ones for woodworking projects and all that, but it works for the different size tracks. So I've got my Komatsu lifted by the hydraulics, and I've got a little 1x underneath just to pick up the slack on the track. This is our pin that we need to put in. And I'll set this here. Hopefully you guys can see it. It's good to have a flashlight so you can kind of backlight the pin. And what is a particular pain in the ass, sorry for swearing, is that getting this cog down inside there so that you can slide the pin through, that is what is just a job. And so that's where this dowel comes into play. So let me get things into position. I'll be right back. All right, I think I've got things set up pretty good here, but one thing to make note of is that there's not a lot of room because the stabilizing brace for the blade comes in contact with the clamp. Maybe if there was a different clamp with a smaller head, it would probably work a little better, give a little bit more room. But what I have right now, I think will work. And so, I don't know if you can see here. But right there is where we need to get the pin threaded through the cog and through the holes for the track. sections. So let's get that set up. If you can see, I used a couple of regular door shims just to pick up the track a little bit, to give it a little bit more ability to come together. And I dropped the cog down in there. Man, it looks like it's in the good place. And so this pin is flat across the top, and it has to have a perfect opening or else the edges are going to catch. That's where this comes into play. And so hopefully and give this a little love tap. There we go. All right. So we got that in place. And now we can tap the track pin through it. Shouldn't take too much. And it's just a follower. And then it ends up knocking the track pin, or the, that guide pin, out on the other side of the track. So now that that's in place, this is our pin. I'm going to take the bar off and then raise the Komatsu up a little bit. Pull the shims out. We don't need those anymore. And then here's our pin. We will roll this thing back just a little bit right there so we can access it from back here. Alright, so we're repositioned. Let's get a little Loctite on this. Loctite is our friend when it comes to any of these models. And that is the one right there. Just tighten that down. I didn't say, but both sides, both ends of these they're 2 millimeters. And I really like having a hex head or hex end set of Allens metrics. They really complement the ball ends. Ball ends sometimes strip out when they're pretty small. So the track is on. This project was replacing the drive motor on the right side. It burned out on me for whatever reason. I think I had a rock stuck in the track. But there it is. Finally works. Yay. Alright. If you have a 575, I hope this video helps you out.